You think rejection hurts men. It doesn't. Rejection is clean. It is a closed door. What men remember, what gnaws at them years later while they are brushing their teeth or pretending to listen in meetings, is embarrassment. The moment they looked small. The moment the mask slipped. The moment a woman saw through them and did not bother to pretend otherwise. That is the wound that never quite scabs over. That is the one they revisit in private like a crime scene they cannot stop re-examining. Rejection can be reframed. He can tell himself she was busy, broken, intimidated, unavailable, too demanding, not his type after all. Embarrassment offers no such luxury. Embarrassment is public. Embarrassment is visceral. It stains identity. It announces to the nervous system that the hierarchy has been clarified and it did not break in his favor. Men will forgive women for saying no. They will not forgive women for making them feel foolish while saying nothing at all. This is why men obsess over moments that seem insignificant to women. A delayed reply that arrives too calm. A neutral smile where interest was expected. A polite exit delivered without explanation. These moments feel like nothing on the surface. Underneath, they detonate. The male ego is not fragile in the way people imagine. It is brittle. It does not bend. It cracks, clean and sharp, and the sound echoes. Most men spend their lives rehearsing dominance in small ways. They interrupt. They posture. They explain things no one asked them to explain. They do this not because they are confident, but because they are terrified of exposure. Confidence is quiet. Insecurity is verbose. When a woman inadvertently punctures that performance, especially without malice, the damage goes deep. It is not that she rejected him. It is that she rendered him irrelevant in his own fantasy. There is research that backs this up, although it dresses the truth in polite language. A study published in Psychological Science in 2014 found that social pain linked to embarrassment activates brain regions associated with physical pain more intensely and for longer durations than simple rejection. Translation for those who prefer bluntness. Being exposed as lesser hurts more than being excluded. Rejection is exclusion. Embarrassment is demotion. This is why men will chase women who embarrass them long after the logical window has closed. He is not chasing her. He is chasing the version of himself that existed before the moment she saw through him. He wants to rewrite the scene. He wants to re-enter the room with better lines, better posture, better timing. He wants to restore internal order. The woman is incidental. The injury is central. Women who understand this accidentally acquire power. I say accidentally because most of them are not trying to humiliate anyone. They are simply self-contained. They do not overreact. They do not over-explain. They do not rush to reassure. They move on. This is read by men not as maturity, but as quiet superiority. The man senses that something important has been decided without his input. That is intolerable. This is also why simps are so forgettable. They rush to soothe every micro-discomfort. They narrate their intentions like guilty children. They ask permission to exist. There is nothing to remember, because there's nothing at stake. Embarrassment requires risk. Risk requires self-respect. Men who embarrass themselves do so because they attempted something. Men who are rejected politely without friction simply move on to the next slot machine. The dark joke is that men publicly claim to want honesty while privately organizing their lives around avoiding humiliation. They say they want women to be direct, but what they really want is a rejection that preserves dignity. They want the door closed gently, with a handwritten note explaining it was not their fault. When they do not get this, when they are denied narrative control, they replay the moment endlessly, like a scratched record. Now let us get unpleasantly precise. Embarrassment lingers because it threatens status, not attachment. Rejection threatens access. Status threats activate something older and meaner in the male brain. Long before romance, men competed for rank. Rank determined survival, mating, resources, and legacy. Being embarrassed in front of a woman triggers the same alarm as being laughed at in front of the tribe. The body reacts as if exile is imminent. Cortisol spikes. Memory sharpens. The scene is burned in. Women who can play men do not mock them. Mockery is crude and obvious. They simply refuse to compensate for male fantasy. They let silence do the work. Silence is brutal because it offers no handholds. The man cannot argue with it. He cannot correct it. He cannot charm it. He can only sit with it. If you are a woman watching this and feeling uncomfortable, good. Discomfort is the price of insight. This is not about cruelty. It is about understanding leverage. Leverage is not created by cruelty. It is created by restraint. The woman who says less than expected forces the man to say more than intended. In that surplus, he reveals himself. If you are a man watching this and feeling defensive, also good. That reaction tells you exactly where your ego still needs anesthesia. Ask yourself which moments you replay at night. The woman who said no, or the woman who said nothing and walked away. You already know the answer. Halfway through this conversation, let me interrupt myself, because some of you are not here for theory. You are here because you want advantage. I offer one-on-one coaching for people who want to understand these dynamics, not as entertainment, but as application. The explanation for coaching is pinned in the comments section. One-on-one work is where patterns become visible and blind spots stop pretending they are personality traits. If you opt in, check your spam or promotions folder. Important emails have a habit of hiding where the unimportant ones gather. I have also finished the landing page, and I will be adding it to the description and the pinned comment. Read the free PDF and watch the video there. It will clarify what most people keep mystifying. Subscribe to the newsletter while you are there. I offer discounts for coaching orders to people who pay attention consistently rather than urgently. There is also a course called The Feminine Game. Some of you already ordered it and then wrote asking why you did not receive anything. Check your spam or promotions folder. The email went out. It always does. Responsibility is attractive. Practice it. And because attention spans are collapsing everywhere except where power is concerned, I created a new channel called Ex-Pimp Explains Men Masterclass. I post there twice a week. The videos are about 50 minutes long enough to say something uncomfortable without rushing to apologize. You can click the link for the new channel explanation and decide if you can tolerate sustained thought. Now back to embarrassment, because this is where the real education lies. Men remember embarrassment longer than rejection, because embarrassment rewrites self-image. Rejection is an external event. Embarrassment becomes internal narrative. He does not say she rejected me. He says I misread myself. That is far more dangerous. It destabilizes his confidence in future situations. It creates hesitation. It makes him cautious. Caution kills attraction faster than cruelty ever could. This is why men who have been embarrassed by a woman often oscillate between idealizing her and resenting her. She becomes a symbol rather than a person. She represents the mirror they did not consent to look into. They may insult her privately to regain dominance. They may pedestal her publicly to justify their fixation. Both reactions are attempts to manage the same wound. Women who understand this do something counterintuitive. They do not escalate. They do not seek closure. They do not try to heal the man. Healing is intimate. Intimacy is reward. They simply continue living well. This is read by the man as confirmation that the hierarchy stands. He was momentary. She was permanent. The humor in all this is bleak. Men will spend months recovering from a moment where a woman simply did not care enough to react. They will call it mixed signals. They will call it confusion. They will call it bad timing. Anything but what it is. A quiet demotion. In the second half, we are going to get even more surgical about how this plays out in modern dating, professional environments, and why social media has turned embarrassment into a chronic condition rather than an acute one. Men like to believe time heals everything. It does not. Time merely gives wounds better furniture. Embarrassment ages well. It matures. It develops nuance. Rejection fades because it is external and finite. Embarrassment metastasizes because it relocates inside the self. It becomes a private doctrine. I am the man who misread. I am the man who reached too far. I am the man who thought he had more gravity than he did. That sentence repeats long after the woman's face is blurred. This is why men who are publicly confident are often privately haunted. Confidence is a performance that requires constant upkeep. Embarrassment is a crack in the stage floor. Every time he walks across it again with someone new, he remembers where it buckled last time. He compensates. He overcorrects. He becomes cautious or theatrical. Both are tells. Women who know what they are looking at can smell this residue instantly. You see it in how he tests before he commits, how he floats jokes instead of statements, how he seeks micro-validation disguised as banter. None of this comes from rejection. Rejection teaches efficiency. Embarrassment teaches fear. Fear is sticky. Fear is loyal. Fear does not forget. Modern dating has made this worse. Rejection used to be private. Embarrassment is now archived. Screenshots, read receipts, group chats, silent unfollows. Men are not built for ambient humiliation. They evolved to handle direct conflict, not soft erasure. Being ignored online feels like being laughed at without hearing the laugh. The imagination fills in the rest, and it is never kind. This is where women who understand leverage become dangerous without lifting a finger. They do not announce boundaries. They live them. They do not correct men. They let men correct themselves in retrospect. The absence of drama becomes the drama. The lack of explanation becomes the explanation. And let us be honest about something impolite. Men want to feel chosen, but they also want to feel superior. Rejection denies the first. Embarrassment denies the second. You can recover from not being chosen by deciding the chooser was flawed. You cannot recover from realizing you were never as elevated as you believed. That realization rearranges the furniture of the psyche. This is why men will invent elaborate stories about women who embarrassed them. She was manipulative. She was cold. She was damaged. She was playing games. These narratives are not about her. They are about restoring internal hierarchy. If he can frame her as deviant, he can frame himself as normal again. The story is anesthesia. The women who unsettle men the most are not the loud ones. They are not the cruel ones. They are the women who decline to participate in emotional labor. They do not smooth over awkwardness. They do not rescue men from their own projections. They let the moment stand as it is, raw, undecorated, unresolved. That is the kind of moment that follows a man home. If you want proof that this is not just theory dressed up as menace, return to the research briefly. Neuroscience studies on social evaluative threat consistently show heightened and prolonged cortisol responses when individuals feel exposed or judged rather than simply excluded. The body treats embarrassment as a survival threat. Rejection is disappointment. Embarrassment is danger. The body does not forget danger. This is why men will remember a single awkward interaction longer than a dozen polite rejections. Politeness cushions the blow. Embarrassment removes padding. It is skin on concrete. You remember the texture. Now let me be very clear, so no one misinterprets this as encouragement of cruelty. Cruelty is inefficient. It announces intention. Power prefers ambiguity. The most effective women do not aim to embarrass men. They simply refuse to manage male self-image. That refusal is enough. Men do the rest themselves. If you are a woman listening to this and wondering how to apply it, start by subtracting rather than adding. Subtract explanations. Subtract reassurance. Subtract urgency. Subtract the impulse to fix the mood. What remains is presence. Presence without appeasement is rare. Rarity creates value whether anyone likes it or not. If you are a man listening to this and feeling exposed, you have two options. You can armor yourself with contempt and call this cynical, or you can use the information. Embarrassment loses power when it is integrated rather than avoided. The men who recover fastest are not the ones who never feel embarrassed. They are the ones who stop outsourcing their self-worth to reactions. The irony is that men who accept embarrassment without scrambling to erase it become formidable. They stop performing. They stop chasing applause. They become quieter. Women notice. Silence attracts attention because it suggests surplus. Desperation repels because it announces deficit. Before we close, I will repeat something for those who skipped earlier and then returned hoping for shortcuts. I offer one-on-one coaching. The explanation is pinned in the comment section. It is not therapy. It is pattern recognition. The benefit of one-on-one work is that your blind spots stop pretending they are personality quirks. If you order, check your spam or promotions folder. The email is there, even if your ego tells you it is not. The landing page is finished, and it is in the description and pinned comment. Read the free PDF and watch the free video. Subscribe to the newsletter if you have the patience to read rather than skim. I offer discounts for coaching orders there because attention deserves reward. Order the course called The Feminine Game if you want a deeper understanding of how women who understand men move differently through the world. If you already ordered, check your spam or promotions folder. The email went out. It always does. And yes, there is a new channel called Ex-Pimp Explains Men Masterclass. I post twice a week. The videos are about 50 minutes long because complexity does not respect short attention spans. Click the link for the explanation and decide whether you want depth or dopamine. Now for the conclusion, men avoid and women quietly understand. Men remember embarrassment longer than rejection because embarrassment threatens identity. Rejection threatens opportunity. Opportunity can be replaced. Identity cannot. When a woman unknowingly destabilizes a man's self-image, she becomes unforgettable not because she was extraordinary, but because she was uncooperative with his fantasy. This is not about gender war. It is about anatomy of memory. The mind preserves what endangers it. For men, Nothing endangers more than being seen accurately at the wrong moment. That is the bruise that never quite fades. If this video irritated you, good. Irritation means something landed. If it clarified something you have felt but never named, even better. Subscribe if you like the video and want more of this kind of analysis. Leave a comment telling me which moment you remember longer, a rejection you shrugged off, or an embarrassment you still replay. The answers will be more honest than most people expect. Disclaimer: this content was generated with the assistance of artificial intelligence and is designed for commentary, analysis, and educational discussion. It reflects simulated perspectives and narrative analysis, not factual claims about real individuals. Viewer discretion is advised.